Hello and welcome to Bogside Chat, where we discuss all things DeFi Kingdoms. My name is Matty Pesk. Today I am once again joined by Guy Kid and C9. And how are you guys doing?
Doing very well. Doing very well, Maddie. Was traveling towards the latter end of last week and
Okay.
this weekend. A little bit stressful, but I've got one constant. And do you know what that constant is?
I can guess, but you tell me.
It's DFK.
That's what I thought. That's what I thought.
And the one and only non-whale podcast featuring Maddie, C9N, and Guy.
I like that as that's a alternative unofficial tagline.
What's the tag?
Non-whale podcast.
Non-whale podcast. I
Yeah.
do like that. Yeah, happy to be here.
Excellent.
Something that has not been consistent is the weather in the Northeast. I think I'm going to go from 60 degrees to 10 degrees in the same week this week, so it should be interesting.
Good luck, Guy.
It's just more evidence that the metaverse is better than real life. But anyways, today we're going to be talking about some alpha that dropped last week. The DeFi Kingdoms team was at Denver, and they gave us a whole bunch of new details on some stuff about the game. We also have an interview with DFK Franz, a Twitter superstar, a little bit later. But before we get to all that, we got to talk about this alpha. For me, one of the biggest things that came out was they gave details on the combat system. They gave more details about the perilous journey, stuff about the new scholarship program. Before we get into all the details, though, what are you guys excited about? What in this announcement got you pumped up?
Perilous journey. Let's be frank and honest here. The perilous journey is on everybody's mind. It's the number one thing, and everyone wants to know how it can benefit them.
Yeah, I'm excited for Perilous Journey too. I would say my top thing that I'm most excited for, and this has just kind of been reassured through ETH Denver as well as the recent AMAs, is land tournaments, which really ties into the whole combat conversation. So really looking forward to that.
Very true. A lot of exciting stuff. Let's get started with the perilous journey. So there was a whole bunch of details given out. I'm going to kind of run down some of it here. The number one thing is the perilous journey is going to be a one-time event. And I say one-time event, but we can talk about it later. And Guy has theories on that in terms of timeline. We don't know how long it will take, but you will be sending some of your heroes on this adventure. And there's a big chance that they do not survive. So there's a sliding scale of whether your heroes will survive the journey. 35% survival for a basic common level 1. 95% for Mythic Dread Knight level 10, which I think there's only one Mythic Dread Knight in the entire game right now. So, somewhere in between there. This whole journey, this whole event is to open up Crystal Vale, a whole different region of the game. For those that make it, the heroes that do make it and do survive, you get a full bar of experience, so you'll level up immediately. You'll get an achievement on your... that's actually a question I had. Was it achievement for the heroes or an achievement for your account? That's something I hope maybe Guy can sort that out for me. You also get entered into the Gen Zero Crystal Vale raffle. You'll get some tickets in the raffle, and something Guy mentioned was you get access to a special land tournament that's exclusively for heroes who made the journey. Now, heroes that don't make the journey also get some rewards. They get some jewel or crystal, some amount that hasn't been described yet. And they also will get this new type of rune that will give bonuses when you summon. So considering 35% survival for a basic common, level 1, are we sending our heroes on the perilous journey?
No. Nope, no. I've just got a few heroes. I'm not special. I'm looking to see how...
Hold on, I have to interrupt there. You're a very special person. You need to know that, C9N.
I appreciate that. What I'm trying to get at, though, is can't afford it. Looks like a lot of these rewards lately, or I should say since the beginning of time, have been rewarding whales. We'll see how the perilous journey can affect positively players like myself with just a few heroes, I'm optimistic. I think the combat is going to be really cool. We'll see.
Yeah, and Guy, I do want to hear your answer, but I want to jump in and mimic some of that. I have 2 heroes, just being honest, just cards on the table. I have 2 heroes total. There is absolutely no way I am sending them on the perilous journey. I love them. I have a personal connection with my heroes, and there's no way I'm risking because it's and again, I should have said that they are dead. The NFTs are burned and are gone forever if they don't make it. So someone like me, and I think C9N, you agree with small amounts of heroes, this is just not worth it.
Yeah, I'd agree with you guys. If you got less than 5 heroes, it's very, very tough to send any of them on the journey, especially if most of your jewel is in heroes and not the gardens or the bank. Because it's a gamble at the end of the day. I mean, you're talking about burning your entire stake in this game. So if you've got upwards of 20 plus heroes, Perilous Journey probably makes sense for at least a good subset of your heroes. I'm kind of strategizing it based off of I want 3 heroes to survive the Perilous Journey. So I'm trying to figure out just the right amount that I want to send. Is it 3 and hope for the best? Is it 5, 6, 7? I'm thinking somewhere in that range, the 3 to 7 number, so that 3 can survive, get the achievements, get the Gen Zero raffle ticket, if you will, and then on top of that, getting access to exclusive land tournaments, at least hopefully for a bit.
Right. Yeah, I think. Yeah, I mean, some of these achievements for surviving, I think, are impressive. I don't know if the rewards for when your guy dies is necessarily worth it, but access.
Well, they called it in ETH Denver. They called it life insurance.
Yeah, exactly.
There's going to be some kind of consolation, but I'm pretty sure they even said it won't be worth more than the hero's worth.
Yeah. Oh, and also, so since the announcement, they did say this upcoming week we will get more details on that sliding scale survival rate.
Yeah, I think Hubert's doing an AMA on Wednesday, right?
Yeah, I believe so. So hopefully that'll help us. Should we send our level 5 commons, our uncommon advanced classes? Do we get bonuses for those types of things? Better chance of survival. That'll help us maybe make that decision. Again, still going to emphasize myself. There's no way, even if he tells me my heroes have a chance. If it's not 100%, I'm not risking my heroes.
Well, the second beer that I had is telling me that maybe I should send 1 or 2. We'll see.
They did say that there's going to be an achievement you'll get that further down the line, that achievement is going to be a gate into doing other type of in-game events, whether that's questing or who knows what. Maybe that's how they'll test the land tournament as well.
And that achievement is whether you survive or not, right?
Correct.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Well,
so
maybe.
So between Matty-esque and myself, who are both on the lower hero range, he's a definitely not. And depending upon the life insurance, I'm a probably not.
Yeah.
I mean, that's probably the common take when it comes to being not a whale. And even someone like Guy Kid, who's certainly not a whale, but has a couple heroes laying around.
Yeah, I've got 20 and 25, and I'm still a small fish in a very, very large pond.
That's a good point. I think, I think it's interesting. It'll be interesting to see what percentage, macro players, how many heroes that the players in the entire game will send. Considering, I think it's about what was it? 50%, or the median wallet has 17 heroes or something around there. So it'll be interesting.
If the median wallet has 17 heroes, what do you think the average wallet actually is?
I don't know, because I think that's thrown off by a few that have just a stupid amount.
Right.
So I don't know if that's even something we can look at. Really.
Damage does his weekly or
Yeah.
bi-weekly whale wallet report, which anyone that's interested in the macro of DFK, I definitely recommend checking out his Medium article.
Where can I get that?
Just medium.com
Yeah,
/
Sandwich
sandwich
Punch.
punch, I think.
Yeah. Nice.
We'll find the link. Maybe we'll include it in the
Yeah, we can put the link in the show notes.
Sure.
Right.
Getting back to being a little bit mean. When is Frisky gonna reward those players that maybe don't have the whale means but are super high on the game? Give us Frisky, come on.
That is a great segue to the next topic I want to discuss. The next issue that they brought up at ETH Denver was this scholarship program. So, as a little bit of background, I don't know if in general people are aware of another game that's really popular in the blockchain world, Axie Infinity. Axie Infinity has sort of a similar format to DeFi Kingdoms. The gameplay is a little bit drier and a little bit slower, but in general, the same thing of collecting NFTs, breeding, and summoning new ones. So a small group outside, not small anymore, but a small group in the Philippines formed a guild called the Yield Guild Gaming. I always screw up the name there. And they started a scholarship program where certain individuals would put up their in-game assets, so their Axies or their Axis coins. I think they're called Axie. AXS is the coin. Anyways, players would put up their assets, and other players would play with those assets, and then the rewards gained by playing would be shared amongst the scholars and the individuals who posted their assets. So the scholarship program has been seen before, and the Yield Guild Gaming Group has been very successful, and so much so that a lot of individuals in the Philippines who were at poverty level were able to basically create themselves a whole full-time job where they were making decent money playing this game. And if anybody hasn't heard about this or checked it out, I highly recommend you go check it out. It's a really cool story. Like the creators are very smart people, and it was a really cool program. Now, what DeFi Kingdoms is doing is slightly different. So they want to do a scholarship program so that we can bring people in. However, they're not doing the shared rewards. What they're doing is individuals will post their assets and basically post a contract that says, I want you to go on a quest with my hero, and if you do it 10 times this week, I will give you 25 Joule at the end of the week. It is a way to get people who can't really afford, the hero prices are rising, rising and falling depending on the market, but it's still pretty difficult to jump into the game. So this program will hopefully bring people in and allow them to play at least some form of the game and earn some Joule. There's a lot, in my opinion, there's a lot left on the table here. There's been a lukewarm response to this because the people doing the work do not actually earn any of the rewards. They just get the contract at the end of it. So if you say find an egg while you're questing, the owner of the hero gets the egg and you don't get that. How do we think about this? I think in general it's good to expand the game. However, I'm a little disappointed with aspects of it.
Yeah. Well, it depends. It makes sense because if you hop on a contract, first of all, you said 25 Joule for 10 quests in a week. I'll take that every day.
Well, that was my example, but yeah, I mean,
I know. If you go out there and you find an egg, I mean, do we really want that person who is fulfilling a contract to keep that egg? That's an enormous amount of Joule for someone to do. On the other hand, I'm sure the responsiveness of the devs, the community in general, I think this will work out. They'll be able to tweak it. They'll be able to work it. I think that in the end, whatever we settle on is going to be fine. They work with the community really well. They're constantly updating. I'm not really too worried about that. How about you, Guy?
Yeah, I think day one that the championship program comes out, everyone's going to be underwhelmed and disappointed. They were actually talking about it during the AMA today too, which was interesting, of just the whole dynamic of this is all going to be run through smart contracts. So they need to learn the capabilities of what can be programmed into the smart contracts, and then how that all ties into the game, what can be changed. Being able to put assets in escrow is an interesting concept as well. So they're going to crawl before they run, because they have to, because they need to learn this, and they need to test it. And it's going to be very linear day one of complete these 7 quests, complete a quest every single day for 7 days, and then you'll get paid X amount of jewels as long as you complete that contract. Where the champion program can go long term is really exciting. Of once they figure out the basis of the smart contracts, they can get more creative with it. Someone actually asked the egg question during the AMA today, and it was really interesting of, hey, can we build some kind of bonus structure in where, yeah, obviously the champion fulfilling the contract isn't going to be able to keep the egg, but can we give them a 5 jewel bonus for every egg they collect or something like that? And First Game Team said that's something that could potentially be in the cards long term, just can't be rolled out day one as they're learning about smart contracts. So I do think the sky is the limit for the champion program, but it's going to be a little underwhelming when it first comes out.
See, it's exactly what I'm saying. Let's give them time. I know I was the first person to start crushing Frisky and the teams for rewarding whales, but we all have to be very, very honest. They've been super responsive when it comes to talking to the community. They've been super responsive when it comes to bugs, when it comes to, hey, this doesn't work very well. More responsive than any other game in the crypto market. I'm excited. Long-term, high hopes.
I think the future of this program is what I'm more excited about than what they sort of presented. You know, they suggested the champions would there'd be a ranking system. So the more contracts you fulfill, the better your efficiency at fulfilling those contracts, the higher your rank would be. So then you would display that in the game. It would be on the blockchain, so everyone would be able to see, you know, this user is this good. You know, he completes this amount of contracts. I think that is a way that individuals more like myself who don't necessarily have the wallet or the hero stable to show their value. I can show my value by saying I'm this good at completing these contracts. I think that's exciting. You know, again, I think that's a little bit down the road, but
right.
And
I think that whole champion concept, if there's utility attached to guilds are going to want active players, and that's going to be really, really important for guilds. Just because you're a whale doesn't mean you're super valuable to a guild. You might be a whale and you want to play the game your way, and you've got your system and you got your miners in the mines every single day, and that's what you want to do with your 35 heroes or whatever that you have. And you just want to mine as much locked jewel as humanly possible. But if you're a bunch of people that actually want to play the game, and you've got a couple whales that can stake some heroes to some people that just want to play the game, and you now have 100 people with 3 heroes each that can go do a quest together every single Tuesday at 6 o'clock when the dragon shows up in the open world or something like that. Guilds are going to want active players, and champions with good scores are going to be looked at not necessarily just as valuable as a whale, but they'll be compared to the value of a whale through their efficiency ratings.
It sounds like you have experience in gaming.
I might have played an MMO or an RTS in my day.
Very good.
Yeah, ran a couple guilds as well, and had to go through the whole pruning process of, all right, these guys have turned from green to yellow and yellow to red. Of, all right, they've been inactive for 48 hours. This guy hasn't logged in a week. Obviously, when you have real money in the game, it's a little different, but I'd argue that people have real money in the Clash of Clans games of the world as well.
Sure. No question. I mean, you can see it. This is a separate point, but it's a multi-billion-dollar industry, you know, and everyone's putting money into this stuff. So I think that's a valid point. So that's the scholarship program. I should have mentioned this at the top, and we talked about while we were talking about it. It's going to be called the Champion program. So if you are someone completing the contracts, you'll be a champion. That's how they're framing it and how they're naming the scholarship program.
You're my champion, Maddie. Just to let you know that.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Yeah.
I think that leads me to what I'm most excited about. The final topic we're going to discuss today is the details they gave on combat. So they've given a lot of hints and dropped a couple notes here and there, but this was the first time we had some real concrete information about how the combat system in the game is going to work. The first thing they confirmed that we sort of had gotten hints at earlier was that it's going to be 3v3. Your team of 3 heroes versus an opponent's team of 3 heroes. At least for the PvP section of it, that's how it's going to work. They also stated they're going to be following a lot of the classic fantasy tropes: physical damage, physical defense, magic damage, magic defense. Each class and potentially subclass that was up in the air, left kind of up in the air, will have a skill tree that you can assign skill points as you level up. We've been getting these skill points in our level ups, and we don't really know what they're for, but now we know that there will be a skill tree, and we will be able to assign those skill points to the skill tree and change what skills our heroes are talented in. It's very early right now. We've gotten these details. It's exciting. It's fun to theorize and do game theory on this. Should we be? But is it too early? Should we be doing game theory on this, or should we just wait and sit tight and be patient on it?
We should absolutely be as speculative as possible and try to get ahead of the curve. That being said, there are too many variables to be any % correct. I mean, you look at the abilities, and it's active 1, active 2, passive 1, passive 2, basic 1, 2 to 7. You name it. We don't know anything. And we could be rolling out a magic user with abilities that are purely physical. We don't know. And that's kind of the beauty of the game. I can see, it's a little bit of a jump, but I can see the values of certain heroes absolutely bottoming out, but valuable heroes simply skyrocketing once these things start to come to fruition. Really, really excited about this. It's almost like quantity of heroes right now is really your best bet.
Yeah, there's so many different layers to this combat system, and I'd argue there's still a lot of layers we don't even know. I think we're a little ahead of the curve. We actually look at abilities a good amount when we're looking at hero cards, and I would argue a good percentage of people out there aren't even looking at abilities or don't even know it's a thing yet. The DFK Adventures tool is awesome for that, of being able to track advanced elite abilities on top of just your basic abilities. But we don't even know if an advanced ability is going to be any better or any more suited than advanced 3 ability for a certain hero. So there's so much speculation around that. There's so much speculation around these elements and these backgrounds on the cards too. My paladin here, he's in the desert and he's a dark element. Is that going to be a huge factor into combat as well? We have no idea.
Right.
What we've kind of found out a little bit about, though, is day 1 combat's going to look very different than year 2 of this game. So I do think we can make some speculation around that, of heroes with high stats are better than heroes with low stats.
And also, not only will they potentially have a stat boost if they're fighting in their potential region, desert, swamp, name it. But I don't even know where I was going with that. I have no idea. I lost my train of thought in the middle of that. I think it's time for my 4th blue moon.
Well, yes, totally. But I think also too, we don't even know the relationship between the abilities, the genes that we see on the card and the skill trees. Most likely they're associated. That's sort of what we're going on right now. But we don't even know if, does a advanced 1 ability change the skill tree significantly or not at all. We don't know that kind of stuff. So it is very early. Now, it being that early, I still want a game theory. What is a good combination of 3 heroes?
Sure.
We know it's the classic kind of fantasy tropes. So I'm thinking somebody who's quick and fast, DPS, a tank, and for me a healer. But I know maybe that third role could be some other part of support class. We don't.
Right. You could do a tank and two attack. Let's, in my opinion, what we should do is focus on what we know absolutely, right? We know an advanced ability is better than a basic ability.
Sure.
We know that having, this is Frisky's words, right? Having a hero matched uh, skills is going to be better than having a not matched, right? We know that having an advanced or an elite or a transcendent hero is going to be better than not. Having a uncommon is going to be better than a common. Focusing on that right now and slowly moving down the funnel is probably going to be your best bet. You can speculate all you want. One thing that I would probably say is that people aren't looking at abilities and advanced versus elite, transcendent, and basic as much as maybe the more involved of us are. So that may be a place where you can get ahead. But overall, probably should stick with the surefire things.
No, I think that's a good point, and I think that brings up something we've discussed individually, as a group, of how there's two, at least right now, I think there's two categories of players. The ones that are closer to what C9N and myself are doing, which is like, only a handful, 5 at most heroes, and you love them. Yeah, I got some in the gardens, and I'm paying attention, and I'm on the Discord, and I'm following everything super closely. But I'm not buying anything based on it, but I am theorizing what I want to do. And then there's another category that has a larger stable of heroes that might not be paying as close attention. And again, this pulls back into the scholarship stuff of showing value for those bigger whales, if you will. But I think it's interesting, and I think there potentially might be value in speculating and trying to pick up a hero that will fit that PvP mold when we don't know for sure if it's going to be what the system looks like.
Yeah, the value is my entertainment.
Right.
We are here, right? I'm looking at the map. We're on Kingdoms and Land, and I know we've switched up the map a little bit. I'm just going to go with what it says. It's pets, buildings, equipment, PvE, guilds, then PvP. I know we have to do, and Guy can break this down a little bit more. We got to do PvP light for the Perilous Journey and the land tournaments, but we are definitely closer towards the midpoint on the map than we are towards the end. So there's a lot of development that has to happen. There are so many factors. It's like trying to predict the value of the dollar a year and a half from now. It's like, good luck. I mean, you can speculate.
Yeah.
Good luck.
No, totally. And I think it's tough to look at the roadmap just because we know that was made months ago, and a lot of it can be thrown right out the window. I mean,
they even mentioned that based on all the dynamics that have happened so far, PvP is going to happen before PvE. And if you think of it from a game dev perspective, think of all the additional development you need to do to have 100 different quest lines of PvE, of all the different characters and the rewards and all of those things. Whereas PvP, if you can do a PvP light relatively quickly, because it's going to be the same code across all the PvP matches. You just obviously need to get that right, and that might take a little longer than doing one quest, but you could say it's easier than doing all of these different PvE quest lines.
So excited.
Yeah, I think I'm very bullish on this game, and I think especially the combat. I think if they pull this off and do it well, this could be the ultimate blockchain game that all the other ones claim they're going to be.
Let me ask you
something they keep talking about. They've said it a couple times during the AMAs, and I think they mentioned it during ETH Denver too. Of they want DeFi Kingdoms to be a hub for a lot of different NFTs and for the crypto space as a whole. And something they announced during today's AMA was the partnership they have with Bored
Right.
Apes, where can you even really call it a partnership? But Bored Apes is giving away Jewel to people to utilize their NFTs as their in-game DFK character, which is pretty cool. So you can have a 100% unique NFT as your DFK character in game.
What other crypto-based game, blockchain-based game is even on the same level as DFK?
I don't know if there's any. Well, I will say, things like Gods Unchained. It's obviously a significantly different game. It is a trading card game. They have a functioning game right now where you can play and you can earn cards and you can sell those cards on the marketplace. Obviously, I think the extent and the journey / roadmap for Gods Unchained is nowhere near as ambitious as DeFi Kingdoms, but they do have a functioning game. I know like Splinterlands is another one that's sort of a similar card game format. In terms of scale and ambition, I think this game is number one. Others have
I mean, obviously, Axie's out there, so you can't.
and Axie, but
Axie's the 1,000-pound gorilla in the room when it comes to NFT gaming.
Yeah, Axie's MySpace. I'm looking at this thing like Facebook.
Right.
That's how I'm looking at this.
I don't think anyone on this call will argue that, but if Tom from MySpace was able to pivot and reinvent himself and create a new game within a new platform within the MySpace ecosystem, I might have never left MySpace if it was enjoyable to be in that umbrella.
Wait, do you know what he did? Do you know like the real history of that?
Yeah,
No,
he sold it for $500 million and then bought it back for like $900,000. The dude's a genius.
He sold it. He sold it at the peak and then was just like, I'm done. Like that was it.
Oh, he bought
it. Yeah, I think he bought it back, but like he didn't care about it after that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Why would you?
Yeah.
Axie
Well, so and I mean, we're sitting at a DFK market cap of, oh my God, it's 377 million. I thought we were going to look at it and I was going to say 500 million, which explains what's happening in crypto today. But
yeah,
I mean, the devs at DFK they got a good chunk of change under them already, but you can tell they've got long-term visions where they know they're just a blip of what the potential could be long-term, which is crazy to think it's already a $400 million market cap.
Hubert at East Denver, and Guy, you can probably correct me because I'm going to get a couple details here wrong. I think we saw him get, maybe not emotional is the right word, but he was passionate that this can change lives for underprivileged, like Maddie, you said in the Philippines and third world countries, they can hop on a website. They can screw around with the championship program and say they're making, $1 a day today with back-breaking labor. I don't know about you, but I'm probably averaging a couple bucks a day. You throw in the runes with just a few heroes. And that's, you're tripling the income a day for someone in third world country. Not only is that life-changing, but bring those people into the marketplace and pump it up, baby. Keep it going. Let's keep it going. I'm excited. Super hot.
No, I think I think you're 100% right. I think this is what they the teachers in high school said you can't play video games all your life. And now we can potentially. I mean, obviously
so many
a little bit different than that, but
side note, so many of them got in trouble legally. Now that I'm after, outside of high school and college and maybe a decade or two outside, dude. The unbelievable amount of high school teachers that are doing sketchy stuff. Go ahead.
Okay. That's not that type of podcast.
Look back. Go ahead. Look back. Look back at your high school.
I think Maddie and C9 are going to have their own
We'll
conspiracy theory.
We'll go offline on that
podcast.
Yeah.
We'll have a bridge off the Bogside ecosystem.
We never landed on the moon. Sorry. Go ahead.
All right. I think we covered what we wanted to cover today, and I have some very bad news, guys. Unfortunately, our interview with DFK Franz on Twitter is going to have to be rescheduled. He just messaged me. We had a mix-up on the dates, but we'll get him next time.
Good.
So for C9N and Guy Kid, my name is Matty Pesk. This has been Bogside Chat. we will talk to you next time.
Only podcast that's not a whale.
For now.